Folks, thank you so much for tuning in to Fresh Beats episode number 2. I am your host, Vaughn Wu. And please pardon my appearance. It's hotter than hell here in the Bay Area today. Unusually hot. I'm sweating my ass off. But I have to record this intro now. So you got to look at me sweaty. Apologies in advance. For this episode, I interviewed my friend and fellow DJ, Alex, better known as DJ Audio One. He's one of the dopest and hardest working DJs in the Bay, and certainly one of the most well-rounded in terms of being an open format DJ who's able to cover all genres. Audio One got his name in high school, where he would always provide the radio and the tunes among his circle of friends. And so one of his friends one day said, "We should call you Audio One, with a 1 at the end like graffiti writers do." And so they did. And just like that, DJ Audio One was given his name. I mentioned in this interview that we met through Mr. Smith's, a club that we both played at back in the pre-COVID days. But after some hindsight, I recalled that we met through another super talented Bay Area DJ and good friend, DJ Frisco Eddie. Eddie put us in touch because Alex was looking for a DJ to cover the hip-hop room one night at one of San Francisco's biggest nightclubs, 1015 Folsom. At this point in my life, I held residencies at Temple Nightclub as well as Holy Cow, two of the most successful nightclubs in San Francisco at the time. So my ego was out of control. Plus, I was abusing alcohol and other substances on a grand scale, so my ability to be an asshole at any given moment was off the charts. So I took the gig at 1015 Folsom and brought along my faithful co-DJ and co-party animal, DJ Tone, to rock the house with me. Side note here, Tone was the one who planted the idea in my head to interview Audio One about doing 60 mixes in 60 days. So shout out and thank you, Tone. Anyway, we did the gig, got hammered, rocked the place, I think, and ended our set by unplugging everything in the DJ booth, leaving the room in dead silence, which might have been a cool way to end the night if we were the last DJs on, but we weren't. Waiting patiently nearby was Kevin Kind, who was supposed to go on next, and I think we may have ruined his night. I'm sorry, Kevin. Thanks for being so kind, no pun intended, and not bitch-slapping us the way we truly deserved to be that night. I wish I remembered this story for the interview because besides providing entertainment value, it would have given me a long overdue opportunity to publicly apologize to Audio One for being that guy that night. Anyway, given that disastrously fun story, I'm lucky that Audio One still associates with me at all, and extra lucky that he agreed to let me interview him. Thanks, Alex. So here it is, my interview with DJ Audio One. Enjoy.
Than this.
What's up, Alex?
What up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Fresh Beats, episode number 2. Happy to be interviewing my friend Alex, better known as DJ Audio One.
Yes, yes.
He hails from the Bay Area, and he is a beast. Alex and DJ Scotty Fox were my calendars for the first couple months of this quarantine because I knew it was a new day when my Mixcloud notifications popped up that one of them had posted a new mix.
That is very true.
So you posted 60 mixes in 60 days, and I want to talk to you about that.
Yes, most definitely.
But first, I want to get to know you a little bit.
It's working.
Because we're OGs. It's working. All right. Damn, that sample. You know who that sample reminds me of now?
What?
It's our old friend Risk One.
Oh, man. R.I.P., man.
Rest in peace. He used that as one of my favorite movie samples of all time, and he used it to open up, I think, one of his battle sets. I don't know which one, but yeah, man.
Yeah, he would use it to open up his set sometimes when he would go on. It would be like, it's working, with like an air raid siren or something.
Yeah.
And he would always go into some really funky house beat, really just kind of set the mood.
Hell yeah.
Incredible
Ah,
guy, man. I miss him,
he's
man. I miss him. It's funny. Me and Aaron, the Aaron, always talk about him because when he passed away, his family gave Aaron his last set of Serato records, and Aaron to this day still uses them.
oh wow, that's
Yeah,
dope.
yeah. So
Right
yeah, it's
on.
pretty. Yeah, so it's crazy. Like he keeps his spirit up, every time he plays. So it's
That's what's up. That's
yeah,
some
man. So
something nice to
R.I.P.
remember him by. Yeah,
Yeah, most
R.I.P.
definitely.
He's he was actually what inspired the idea to do this type of a show was when he was diagnosed, and I
Yeah,
wanted to interview him and really talk to him about what it's like for a DJ who is on their own as far as healthcare. An independent
right,
contractor who doesn't get benefits through work. And
right.
how and just kind of walk us through that process and that struggle, because it must have been a struggle.
I could
But
only imagine it was.
unfortunately, he didn't win that battle, and I think that lit the fire into my ass even more to do
Right.
this. And yeah, I'd like to get. I want to interview every Bay Area DJ sooner or later, but I would really like to talk to Lazy Boy about his recent um,
Yeah,
surgery as
lazy.
well.
I was just about to mention Lazy Boy, man. I mean, he's we could get a hold of him.
Yeah,
He's a call and text away for sure. So
he's a beast, man. And he's a nice dude. I've done one
yeah,
event with him
it,
before, and he tore it
it's
up.
it's it's crazy talking to him because I have to keep reminding him like you are the current Red Bull 3 Style USA champion,
Yeah.
and you should act as such. And we're gonna get into a conversation about Twitch and all that, but like just talking to these guys, like him and Jay Espinoza and Miles, like you guys are champions, man. You guys can ask for anything. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
rest of us have to like really not that they haven't put in the work, but when you become a champion, like the opportunities are there. You just have to ask, and it's one of the things that I've learned, in the last few years for me is you gotta ask for help, man. We can't do everything by ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you have to delegate the work, or not delegate the work. If there's an opportunity you want or something you need, you gotta ask for it, man. Like like
That
I haven't worked in 2 months, and I'm asking people for assistance, and thankfully I've paid it forward so much in life that people are, they're helping out now. You know what I'm saying?
that's so true, man, and that's a really noble thing to say. You do you have to speak up. We're as DJs, and I think kind of creative people, artists in general, um, are kind of A type and kind of I'll do it myself
Right.
kind of
We try
attitude.
to we try to handle we tend to take too much on. You know what I'm saying? I think
Yeah.
like the 60 mixes is just too much. I could have easily. What's crazy is I at some point I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start bringing guests on. Like, hey, I'm not doing a mix today, but here's my man Von Wu for the next hour. I was gonna start doing that, but then it was like, like something was like, you know what? Like, I don't know. Like, I really honestly with the 60 mixes, I don't know what the hell I was doing. Just like,
Well, you
you
did
know,
it. You did it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, you're right. Those guys, those champions, their voices are a little louder, and
Definitely,
they can
yeah,
ask
no,
for
and
those
I
things. You're
and
absolutely
I've
right.
had conversations with a few of them, and I'm like, you got the power right now, man. Like, use it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
you got the juice now.
yes, definitely.
All right, tell us where you're from.
I am from Hayward, California. I still live here. I've lived everywhere in the Bay Area. I was born in San Francisco, raised in Oakland when I was a kid. Moved to Hayward when I was, like 7 or 8, and then kind of been everywhere in the world. But I came back here 10 years ago, and I've been here, just doing my thing.
Nice. For those who know,
No, there's
Hayward,
no place like home.
no place like home. That's right. It's no place like Hayward. For those who don't know, Hayward's right next to Oakland, California.
Yeah, it's a little bit south of Oakland, but I like it because especially when we were working full time, it's funny
Yeah,
to say that now, right?
yeah, right.
Um, I was only a 30-minute drive from the city or a
Hmm.
30-minute drive from San Jose, so I'm pretty centralized. I feel
Centrally
for the Bay.
located. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
definitely. So it's
Yeah,
basically like across from San Mateo. So yeah, same thing.
yeah, very industrial city. My
Hmm.
dad lived there for some years, and I worked out there for a lot of different AV companies because
Yeah.
they all have warehouses out there. Um,
Hmm.
and
Tripaldi.
Tripaldi.
Yeah, there. That's the area.
Oh,
It's like an
okay.
industrial area.
Okay, got you, got
Yeah,
you.
there's a lot of AV companies over there. I remember.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've worked for a few of them.
Yeah.
All right. How'd you get into DJing and when?
I got into DJing in 1990, and it was through um, there was an after school program at my school, and it was to keep kids from getting into gangs. And it's funny, at the time there was a big gang problem here in Hayward, and around that age, like sixth, seventh, eighth grade, this is when all the kids started getting influenced to join a gang. But you know, for some reason they're like, "Hey, come join this after school program." And it was these college kids from the local college, from Chabot College, and they basically paired us up with one of those students. And just so happened the one that I got, that was my mentor, he was a DJ. So he just was telling me stories about DJing and entering battles and all this stuff. And I found it really fascinating. Like, I was already fascinated with music at that point. I would listen to radio. I knew about DJs on radio. I just never knew how it was done. And he broke it all down for me. Like, he was just like, well, you take this one record and you play it, and then you get the other one and you prepare it, and then you blend it, and and it was just fascinating. And then there was an assembly that they did in my school, and he showed up with his gear, and I was mind blown, like, just like him putting it together. And then he saw me, he's like, "Hey, come here, man." And he's like, "Hey, look at that box, just pick the next record." And I'm like, "What?" It's like, "Pick the next record, pick the next record." So just hand them to me, and I handed to him, like, Public Enemy record. He played it, handed him a Fushnikins record. And then, so from that point forward, I'm just like, dude, I gotta do this. And it's been my life ever since, man. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
awesome.
So,
Ah, that's fantastic. Do you
yeah,
remember
so
that
yeah.
guy's DJ name by any chance?
I don't remember his DJ name. His name was Orlando Cepeda. He was from San Ramon, but I haven't talked to him since I was a kid. Like,
All
it's
right.
been that long. I think last time I talked to him, I was in high school. Like, we
Okay.
just like caught up over the phone, and I haven't talked to him. So it's been over like 20 years. So
What?
definitely him. Guys like him. There's a guy, Randy Taylor Weber. He's a freestyle producer out here
Mm-hmm.
in the Bay. He was the first guy to hand me a mixtape and some records. And that guy, I still work with him because he's a promoter in San Jose. So
Okay.
it come full circle from him, him handing me tapes to now I'm the man,
For
with the
sure,
mixes
man.
and everything. All right.
It's
So
funny how that
yeah,
happens.
so yeah, so it's a couple of people that I've had in my life, especially from a young age, that were pivotal for me, they just kept me pushing. They gave me the guidance to, get it done, and then I just took off on my own. I did. It's funny because somehow I ended up in the club world, but I wanted to be big in the rave world because I was into raves in the '90s.
Interesting.
So I was big in home base and all those places, and
Yeah.
I fell in love with drum and bass, and I always saw myself. I wanted to be a big drum and bass DJ, and I really fell in love with the whole, at the time, the aspect of hip hop culture blending with drum and bass. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Because it was like reggae and dancehall and hip hop. Now all of those elements and b-boy elements combining with 170, 180 BPM music. It fascinated the hell out of me. And
Oh,
that's
that's
what I
cool.
did. That's what I did for a few years, and then at some point I met Greg J, and he pulled me out of the raves and
Okay.
into the clubs. So he pulled me into Mission Rock and those types of places,
Okay.
and then that's how my career kind of just went all the way to where we're at right now, man. It's just been these waves that I've been on. You know what I'm saying? This wave we're in right now.
Yeah.
So
This is a different wave for sure. That's awesome, man. If anybody out there knows Orlando Cepeda, please let him know that he has changed this man's life right here,
yeah,
and
most
he
definitely,
he
man.
has curated one of the dopest DJs in the Bay. Did Greg
Thank you.
J have anything to do with your editing and producing? Because I know that guy's a monster on the.
Oh yes,
On,
most definitely. With him, it was he taught me it's crazy because he taught me a lot of what I know now. Like, up to that point, I really didn't have no business sense as far as DJing is concerned. I would just play a gig, get 25, $50 and keep it moving.
mm-hmm.
With him, it was like, we're gonna go into this club and you're gonna ask for $400. you know,
Nice.
and they're gonna pay you that, and it
Good.
it blew my mind. And it's like, here, let's go take some pictures. We took some pictures, and he made me my business cards. I had a business card with my picture on it, and like, I didn't know any of that since till I met him. It was the just like branding and marketing and how to like have a look, and which was interesting at the time because I was married, and it was a struggle between me being creative and
and
successful,
and
and
being
then
married.
and being married. Yeah,
Yeah,
which ultimately, it's weird to say it now, but like I got divorced in 2012. My career pretty much has skyrocketed. Basically, my career has skyrocketed from 2012 up to this point. It's just been like nonstop because after she was out of the picture, unfortunately, like it was just pedal to the metal. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
if I just lose, the reality is I lost the house, I lost the cars, I lost everything. So it's like if I'm, I better make something out of this because I just lost everything. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So, and in many ways we have, up till COVID. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Everything was flourishing. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. Well, I'm
but
sorry you
yeah,
had to
no,
experience that, but it sounds like it lit a fire under your
that's
ass to to
yeah.
to do what you wanted to do.
Yeah, so circling back to the story, Greg was very influential as far as business, positioning myself, but then also the editing and production, because with him, what happened was at the time he was playing, he was always on turntables, and then he got into CDJs, so he was editing a lot of his own stuff. He always made edits, he always made remixes. So, and then Serato came around, and I adopted Serato before he did, and the approach he gave me was if we have our music in digital form, why are we going to play it the same way as everybody else?
Hmm.
So this is where you could come in, you can learn, you could create your own versions. And originally it was just me like making my own 8-bar intros, and then it was acapella in or acapella out, just real basic stuff.
Hmm.
And or how about you do an 8-bar intro, the hook, and then the third verse that no DJ plays.
Hmm.
Just very simple stuff.
Yeah.
And I found that when I started doing that, it set me apart. It set us both apart, and we had this. It was like this sort of leverage against everybody else that was out there at the time, because everybody at the time when Serato came around, people were just copying each other's collections, their MP3 collections.
Hmm.
But Greg and I, we basically pulled our resources at the time, and we were just editing everything. And we also knew Ajax at the time too, and Ajax was like doing his thing. He was doing the mix with it edits and that stuff. So
Hmm.
we all sort of pulled our resources, and we just always looked at the game like, forget that everybody is using reruns or they're using wicked mixes or whatever. Let's make our own versions because it's going to make us sound better. We're going to sound unique. No one's going to have our own versions and stuff. So
That's
that's
what's up.
really how it started. Literally, I mean, everything I play is pretty much my version now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
I get new music every day, and I try to edit every day if I can. And I don't need the 5 minute song. I only need 130, 230. I need the that. With EDM songs, it's the second drop that's always the biggest. So I just skip the first one. I just go intro right to the right, just the bang and get out of it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man. Cut out
Yeah.
the
So
nonsense.
yeah,
Get
no,
get
I mean,
get
so
right
that's
to the meat and
yeah. So
potatoes.
so Greg, again, like I said, in my whole life, there's been people that have been pivotal, for the scene. Greg's definitely been a pivotal person in my life too. So because I
So,
would have never approached the game this way, and it's crazy because for a few years he had fallen out of the game, and he's gotten back into it, but not at the level that he was, because he was really like, I remember I was like nobody, he was like the big shot, and it's weird because, and I'm not gonna disrespect him because he's my man, but like it's sort of like this happened. Like now I'm the man, and he's now coming up,
yeah,
because now he's asking me. Sometimes he'll ask me like, "What do you think I should do?" And it's crazy because I used to be that guy with the him. I used
yeah.
to be to him, to Ajax, to Kevin Kine. Like, what should I do?
Oh
And now
yeah,
they're asking. Now they're asking. Now they're like asking me for like, "Yo, what's the next move?"
yeah. That's
And
funny. I went to high school with Kevin Kine, and
yeah,
it's funny that you mention that because I know you from of course I had heard of you and known of you before, but I think you and I
yep,
formed a personal relationship when you started. I think you were already DJing for Mr. Smith's
hmm,
for one of their clubs, if not Mr. Smith's, one of their other clubs.
yeah,
And then I came in and started doing booking for Mr. Smith's.
right.
And so we were
I miss that
constant.
place.
Yeah, me too. It was a fun place. And I was constantly looking for new DJs to fill slots there, and Greg J popped up, and I was like, "Damn, dude, there's a name I haven't heard in a while." I didn't know
Hmm,
he was still into it, or think he'd be down with
yeah.
DJing at a place like that. I feel like after I feel like everybody reaches a certain point in their lives where they're just like, I just can't DJ clubs anymore, man. But yeah,
Right.
that's funny you say that. Um, Real quick, side note to everyone: if you're watching on my website, I noticed Twitch is not letting me do a full size window anymore. So click on the little window there, go to my Twitch, and just watch this on Twitch. It's a much better view, and you can chat. You can ask some questions in the chat if you'd like me to
You
ask
can
Alex. Or,
heckle.
what's that?
I said they could heckle.
That's right. That's right. We can handle it. I wanted to
Yeah,
ask
no,
you your
definitely.
favorite genre. You mentioned drum and bass in there, but you're all over the place, which is one thing I really like about you. Do you have
Yeah.
a favorite genre?
Yeah, like classic hip hop music, man. Like
All
it's
right.
my favorite. Like for me, golden era is 88 through 96.
Wow.
You
All
know,
right.
like that's like yeah, that's like my like what I consider golden era. So anything from Eric B and Rakim, Cool G Rap, all the way to like, late Hyro,
Okay.
Del the Funky Homo Sapien, early Raucus, Most
Mm-hmm.
Def,
Mm-hmm.
Reflection Eternal, all that stuff. So I really love that kind of stuff, man. And
Me too.
and it's crazy now, like just R&B, man. Like I love a lot of R&B. And in the past few years, believe it or not, I've gotten really deep into Motown thanks to I linked up with Donovan, Gordo
Mm-hmm.
Cabeza, and the Motown on Mondays crew, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm down with them now. So, um, Donovan gave me an opportunity a few years ago to go play at Motown in SF, and um, it forced me to study Motown. Like I thought I knew, oh yeah, sure, it's old school stuff. But then when I actually started doing the homework, I fell into a rabbit hole that I never would have imagined, man. Like, Barry Gordy, Motown, all the sub labels, all the artists, everybody, like it was really dope. And now I have just this. Now it's like my mind just think, now it's rare grooves and breaks. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
that's what's up.
I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of my friends consider me a musical encyclopedia, but it's I just love music in general, man. I love watching documentaries on artists. That's all I've been doing when in my off time. Beastie Boy documentary,
Yeah.
Just Blaze documentary. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, no, I mean it's for me it's great to know these stories. Like we live in such a great time where everybody could tell the story. I mean, here we are. I'm telling you my story right now. And
Absolutely. And we've seen we're lucky to be the age that we are and to have seen hip hop
evolve.
evolve and become I'm not sure what it's become. But I have
It's
noticed that
the biggest genre in the world right now.
it is, but it is
Yeah,
definitely is become somewhat unrecognizable. However,
yeah,
I have noticed since this quarantine, a resurgence, and maybe it's just me because I'm at home more and in front of my computer
mhm,
and paying attention more.
yeah.
But a resurgence in real hip hop, old school hip hop, Premier
Throwbacks. Yeah,
Scratch Challenge, Teddy Riley and Babyface battle on IG and RZA and Premier.
yeah.
It seems to be a big resurgence in real, old school hip hop. You mentioned '88, man.
Right.
That's an early year for hip hop. What's like one of your favorite albums you remember from back then?
Paid in Full. I
All
think it's
right,
probably my favorite.
all right.
And it's funny because like the reason I like those albums, and I'm not gonna say that I don't like Rakim. I love Rakim, but I love like the production. You know what I'm
Me
saying?
too.
Like, and the DJs from back then. I mean, like Bomb Squad were really incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's funny. I was just listening to Cold Cut, so that's what made me think of Rakim. Like
Tight.
all that. But I love the Beastie Boys, man. Like,
Yeah,
and as much as I love License to Ill, I think Paul's Boutique is like one of the most slept on albums of all time, man. And it was like
absolutely.
the most controversial one because of all the samples and everything. And in many weird ways, I feel like that sort of shaped a lot of us that like that album. That sort of shaped why we like so much music because they were mixing. I mean, those songs. There was songs where they had like 10 different genres sampled
Yeah,
in one song.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
It was
Like
great.
they had the they had the drum fill from like a rock song. They had the bass line from a reggae song, and
Yeah,
it was crazy when
they're
when you think
everywhere.
about it now. Like, yeah, but it's sort of like they were sonic engineers back then, and they kind of made anyone who listened to them become a sonic engineer too.
That's true.
Like when
That's
you
a good
listen to
way to put
Shake,
it.
like you listen to when you listen to Shake Your Rump, like it's such a funky song, but if you listen to it, it's like, all the different elements. Now that you're a DJ or a producer, you hear all the elements. You're like, that guitar is from that song. It's like dun, 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 dun. You're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm nerding out. I'm a
No, you're
nerd
good.
when
I
it
love
comes
it,
to
man. I love it, and I
that.
really. I really enjoyed that Beastie Boys documentary, and I like how they talked about that, about the fact that Paul's Boutique was slept on, and they were
Yeah,
so excited about it. They were so excited to be putting out something that
right,
they put their heart and soul into, and nobody was paying attention. Um,
right.
but
But
of
it's crazy. It's
course,
crazy. It's crazy. In time, it became a timeless classic.
yeah, like a cult classic,
Yeah,
like a lot of movies.
yeah,
People sleep on them when
mhm,
they first come out, and then they go back and they go, "Oh yeah, there was like it was ahead of its time." Plus, I think when
yeah,
Paul's Boutique dropped, people just knew the Beastie Boys as the License to Ill frat guys, and
right,
they weren't quite ready. They weren't quite expecting real music to come from them just yet. So
right.
that documentary is dope. If you haven't watched it, please do. Anyone
Yeah, it's a
listening,
lot. Great information.
and have you watched Hip Hop Evolution?
Yes, I love that, man.
So
I
good,
love the
man.
stories, man. They are really good. They're doing a real good job at documenting every scene and era that they're covering. I like when they covered the Bay Area, when they covered the
Yeah,
South,
yeah,
Houston, New York. There's just these stories that you just never hear from anybody, and
it's true.
I found the episode when he interviewed Puff Daddy really fascinating because it was like a side of the East Coast West Coast beef that no one ever like imagined.
Yeah,
Like because we're from the West Coast, we I guess we always sort of side with Pac
hmm
and Death Row, but there was a whole different side to it. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And like, and the fact that all these people are now speaking on it like freely, it's incredible. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like,
It's dope.
yeah,
Yeah, you're right. The eras, the way they went through the eras. I was all about hip hop up until about '96 when the East Coast West Coast thing started,
mm-hmm.
and then I was like, nah, I think I'm cool off all this gangster rap, and I just started listening to other things. So from like
Yeah,
'96 till about '99, I paid no attention to hip hop, and
right,
watching Hip Hop Evolution kind of caught me up on what I missed. And I also
right,
love how they even, the last couple episodes were like super producers and
mm-hmm.
mixtape DJs. Dude, I mean,
Right.
it's so thorough and it's so
It's
well
like
done.
it's like the underworlds and scenes of hip hop that not everyone is aware of.
Yeah,
Like,
so true. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a good
yeah,
one. All right,
yeah.
let's see. You don't drink, right?
Every once in a while, I drink. I had a period of 4 years where I didn't drink, and then I started drinking just more socially, just with friends, with my best friend, and like with a couple of my friends. I will say I got really turned on my 40th birthday a few months ago,
All
but
right.
since the quarantine, I've been home for 2 months. I haven't drank at home, and it's more out of respect for my family. Like
Oh, copy that.
we don't have alcohol here, and I don't want to put them through any drama. So
Got you,
yeah.
got you.
So it's not a crutch like it used to be years ago. I used to have a real problem with it. So
I think a lot of DJs do. I hate to make us sound like degenerate alcoholics, but it's really hard to DJ in a club for 2 to 4 hours and not drink and not join the party on some level.
right,
I personally,
yeah,
I'll be the first to admit, I find it really boring. To
yeah,
stand there and watch these people progressively get loose and not be able to join
right,
them and kind of take them on that journey
yeah.
musically. So I've always had a lot of
I
respect for guys who can do it, and I know that
yeah,
you did that for a while. 4 years, you said. That's awesome.
yeah, 4 years, and then and then it was sort of at that point I'm like, um, I felt like I needed to be more social at that time, like because it was really weird all those years. People were walking up with drinks and shots, and you just had to like always turn them away. And it
Yeah.
sort of felt like people were just looking at me weird. And I'm not gonna call it peer pressure. It was my decision to start drinking again. But I
Mm.
told myself I'm just not gonna. There's no reason at this age for me to be drinking bottles to the head anymore. You know what I mean?
No.
If you have a drink, if you go out and have a rum and coke, or you have like a shot or two with some friends, cool, and keep it moving. But the whole just downing bottles of Jameson, it's like, dude, we're not teenagers anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like on a special occasion, I get it. Everyone's gonna hand you shots, but like I mean, I'm 40 years old. I feel the difference when I get drunk now versus when I was 25. Big difference. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
major difference.
I can relate.
So
And I
yeah,
think you were
so
talking to me personally when you said bottles of Jameson, and the homie DJ
that's
Tone
that.
tuned in out
A
there.
lot of a lot of DJs, a lot of DJs love Jameson.
Love it, man.
So
Shout out to
and
DJ
Fernet.
Fernet and Forget. Man, it's a good one. Uh,
Yeah.
a shout out to my boy DJ Tone up in Seattle. He hit me up last night, and I've been wanting to interview you, but he hit me up last night, and he was like, "Yo, you have to interview Audio One. I gotta know how he
Mm.
does 60 mixes in 60 days." So,
Okay.
shout
You
out
want to
DJ
know?
Tone tuned in. I want to know in just a
Yeah.
minute.
Sure.
Um, let's see. Yeah, you know what? I want to know now. What gave you the idea to do a mix a day?
Honestly, I've been wanting to do something like that for a long time. I've tried to start a podcast of mixes for many years, and I always lost the motivation like a few episodes in. So like twice I've tried to start a podcast like that or something similar where I had a theme or something. I would get to like episode 6 and I'm like, you know what, forget it. I'm just too busy. And then
Mm,
last year I tried to do something. I got up to episode 10. So I was, and at that time it was just one a week.
okay.
And even then it felt like, you know, it was, like it was just too much work. Not, I don't, for some reason it wasn't worth it. Maybe just I wasn't putting my heart into it because now that we've had all this time to think about everything, the last 2 months,
Hmm.
like I feel like we were trying to do too much, pre-COVID. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
agree.
you know,
Hmm.
and now it's like we had this break, But
Yeah.
for me, honestly, when I started, it was like, okay, day one, what should I do? I'm like, let me make a mix, and I just called it Bay Area Lockdown,
Hmm.
and it was just the number one. And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should do one tomorrow.
Hmm.
And then there was just like that every day. I'm all right. Let me set like an hour or two a day aside to do it. Let me pick some songs that I like. I always make crates in Serato of stuff that I want to put together. And I felt like, you know what, this is the perfect opportunity to start, you know, putting these things into motion.
Yeah.
And it was there was not much thought there was not much thought process into it. And then about a week or two into it, when I got into like episode 10, 11, 12, that's when I started getting people messaging me like, look, man, I'm a first responder. um Thank you for these mixes, man. Like, in our off time we were looking for something that's not the news, and and like, women in the hospitals, and just different people, and then not just first responders, but just regular people in general. They're like, hey man, thank you for posting that mix, man. It makes me like feel like normal, man, because
Yeah.
honestly the media is just fucking with everybody, you know what I'm saying? and
Yeah.
and for me also, like, I felt like it was therapeutic for me, but then all of a sudden it became therapeutic for other people too. So I felt like compelled, like, I can't give up on this. Now I gotta do it. Now I gotta like do it even more. And that's when I started implementing artwork, and I started making very similar artwork every day. I made it a habit to if I wasn't taking what I was doing was I was going on Google and typing coronavirus Bay Area today,
Okay.
and people usually post pictures.
Yeah.
So I would just take these pictures. So every day, so if you look at all 60 of them on my Instagram or on my Mixcloud,
Hmm.
each picture is something in the Bay. It's somewhere in the Bay, a landmark in the Bay Area
Hmm.
during
Yeah. I noticed
coronavirus.
that.
So
I noticed that.
and it sort of gave people outside of the Bay Area perspective. Like, it looks like you guys, it's real beautiful. I always say that California is one of the most beautiful places on earth because
I
we have
agree.
everything. You know what I'm saying? We have the sand like a few miles away. We
Mhm.
have snow a few miles that way. We have a desert down there.
Hmm.
We got redwoods that way. Like, where can you find all that in one place?
You're
So I
right.
felt like I had sort of had to represent for my area, just show people like it is beautiful even during a pandemic. You know what I'm saying?
You did a good job of it, man, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's one thing to go to dedicate an hour to recording a mix every day, but that it doesn't end there. You got to do the cover art, and you could have called that in. You could have just had a blank cover that said the new number every day, but you had a different
Mm-hmm.
cover every day, and I really appreciated
Yeah.
and
No.
respected that.
It was a lot. It was a lot, man. And then I want to say once I got past 40, then it sort of became like I got really burnt out. I think the last 20, like, I was really getting burnt out. Like, I
Yeah.
was like trying to do this. Now by that point I started streaming more every day. So then my time was more limited.
Hmm.
So I felt like I would do a stream for 3 hours, and then I'm like, shit, I gotta get this mix done now.
Nah.
So I had to be realistic because I had promised that I was gonna do one while while we were still in lockdown. So it could have gone to 90, it could have gone to 100, but then I had to just be real with myself. Like I need to, as we got closer to 60, I think around 57, 58, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna make it to 60 because I need to maximize my time. Like if I'm gonna do streaming, I'm looking for a day job. Like
Yeah.
what happens if I find a job? I'm not gonna have time to do all that.
Nah, right.
Because I know once I get these jobs or whatever I'm trying to apply for, like even the streaming is gonna have to be set aside. So I don't need like the this promise that I gotta put a mix together every day. I can't hang. So it felt like I had just added a bunch of weight to myself. So once I did 60 this past Friday, I felt like this massive weight off my shoulders because then it's like, you know what? I just gave everybody over 60 hours of content. Like I don't need to put out a mix the rest of the year. Honestly, like, but it was every genre, man. It was just drum and bass mixes, EDM mixes, hip hop mixes. I did Latin for Cinco de Mayo. I did a full Mexican mix, like all banda and Latin cumbia, all that stuff. I mean, there's a bit of everything, man. So it was definitely a feat, and I'm really I'm really proud of it. It was just a lot of work.
Good, you should be, man. You should be very proud of yourself. And like you say, there was a lot of range there. It wasn't, again, you could have called it in. You could have just played anything, but you were consciously, changing it up, playing different stuff, and just keeping it interesting and making it different every day. I really appreciate it.
Most definitely. Yeah, no, man. It was good, man. And it's funny because now people are like, "Yo, where's the next one?" I'm like, man, just come see me on Twitch.
There you go. And we'll get that. I want to get all your information out there before we're done here, so people can follow you on Twitch and anywhere else they can hear your mixes.
All good.
So bottom line, a mix a day, and nothing to it but to do it. That was it. There was no strategy. There was no meditation that was involved. It was just you just knew you had to. You put it out there that you were going to do it, and so you knew you had to do it.
Yeah, it was. I think leading up to the day, because I knew it. I think once we got into March, we knew something was going to happen because we saw this thing unraveling around the world, and it's like they're gonna shut us down sooner than later. And it just so happened that weekend was the weekend that like everything went to hell in a basket here. So I told myself, what am I going to do? Because I know I'm probably not going to work anymore. I'm like, well, maybe I should try to do in a mix a day or so, like see if, like, because honestly, I'll say this much during this pandemic, like I have never practiced as much in my life. I've never put things together as much as I have the last 60 days. I've never practiced every day. Like before our practice was literally in the club or at the gig. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that was practice before.
That's true.
And now it's like I have to be sharp because I'm playing live for people on the internet.
Right.
Like it forced, but it was good because I feel like I'm still in the game. Yeah. And it's sad to think that we're probably not gonna play till next year. You know what I'm saying? That's like that's the hardest thing for a lot of us to wrap our head around, man. Like like a lot of people are, not everyone's strategizing about the future from this point forward. Like how do you future proof and pandemic proof your career? And it's, for a lot of people it might be too late, man, because I mean we can't sit on our asses waiting for unemployment, man. I mean the reality is unemployment is only going to last so long, and
it's true.
I know there's a lot of DJs that are waiting for the bars to open, but even when they do, there's going to be capacity, there's going to be safety, there's all these different measures, and for me, it's sort of like, do I even want to DJ anymore? Like in the public? I mean, now they're giving us this option where you can do it virtually. Now we're doing Zoom parties and all this other stuff. It's a whole different world, man. If anything, it's made all of us creative. It's made us like step our game up in other directions.
Absolutely. That's a good thing. However, when they're talking about going into phase 2 and opening up some retail businesses for curbside pickup, and slowly but surely things will start to open. But the reality of what we do, it might never be the same again. I mean,
Right.
even when bars and clubs do open and people are allowed inside, maybe not clubs for the example I'm about to give, but especially bars,
Yeah.
the owners of these places have a lot of lost revenue to make up for now, and unfortunately,
Right.
paying a DJ is probably low on their list of priorities when they can
A
just
lot.
plug in their phone and play music through that. So
Very, very true. Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is
No,
this this is going to
I've
affect
I've
us for a
had
long
these
time.
conversations with every owner and every venue. I mean, even like with Mike, at Delmar, like
Hmm.
he,
Hmm.
he says he wants to open, but they don't know what's gonna happen, man. Like
Yeah.
he's all, trust me, man. I want all of you guys back, but I have no idea what's gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
so the big thing for venue owners and independent business owners and all of us that are self-employed, it's just this big ass question mark. We don't know what's gonna happen. So it's like,
Yeah.
what can you do right now? And
Hmm.
um, it's
Yeah.
it's a very interesting time for all of us, man, for sure.
Absolutely. But you
So,
you 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 stayed busy, and I appreciate that. I think a lot of people. I know that first month, my the nature of what I do when I'm not DJing, I do AV work, and I'm an
mhm,
independent contractor, and the nature of my schedule is unpredictable. And
right.
I might have a week on and then a week off. So when this all first hit, I had some downtime, which I was kind of used to. But that first month, I was like, I'm just gonna chill and really like
Right.
get back to me. And
Yeah.
and then after a month, I was like, oh shit, I haven't done anything with myself for a
We
month.
got to
So
do something, right?
yeah, man. So you stayed on top of your game. I appreciate that.
No,
Um,
definitely, man.
Right on. And a mix a day, being that ambitious, that driven, and having that kind of work ethic is nothing new to you because you put out these edit packs that are just
Mhm.
like, dude, I can't believe how many you put out, how rapidly, and they're all are they? Can I say they're free, or is it just
Yeah.
for? Oh, okay. And you put them
Yeah.
out.
No, I mean, what I send out is for free. I mean, I do work for DMS, Direct Music Service, and I
Hmm.
do
Okay.
make content for them, and the majority of it goes to them first.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of stuff that they don't post too. So then
Okay.
that's the stuff that I like to give out too. So yeah, I tend to make so much that not everything makes it, and the stuff that doesn't make it, I put it into a pile that I end up giving away to all the homies. So
Mm. And so this kind of drive and ambition is nothing new to you. And that, the production I'm talking about,
mhm.
your fans, your listeners might not even know about that. They just know about you as, a DJ and know you for your mixes. But
Right,
DJs know you because you're sharing all of this music with them for free. You're sharing all
right.
these edits and all this production, and we appreciate
Mhm.
it, man. Thank you.
No, no, definitely, man. I mean, sharing is
Yeah.
caring, man. Like
Damn right.
you do.
Damn right. Talk about live streaming. What's that experience been like for you? Have you been getting kicked off of any platforms? It's been a
Okay,
learning
so my
experience for us all.
yeah, it's been definitely a learning experience. It's funny because I always circle back to this. My brother is a very popular tech YouTuber. He
Okay.
has almost 35,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, so he's legit. He's straight up legit.
Wow.
Um, uh, for years, he's been telling me, Alex, start live streaming, start posting videos on YouTube, man.
Mm,
You can monetize this. With your type of, he always told me, with your type of knowledge, you've been doing this for decades. Like, you have a voice. People know you. Like, you should do it. And it's crazy because I was always just so wrapped up in the gigs and moving and if I was dating a girl or something or doing something, like I was wrapped up in everything else but that. And it's crazy that it took a pandemic for everything to stop for me to actually get into it. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
um, at first, what happened with me, my experience was DMS started the first weekend of I think first week into this whole COVID thing. DMS wanted to do a live stream.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, let's start doing live streams on Saturdays. It'll be a good way to like get people involved with our stuff. So it forced me to like get all my stuff together, and it wasn't 100% the first time I did it, but it was fun. I'm like, this is really fun. So I just started doing my homework, started just watching what people were doing, and then I finally, I think on the 28th of March was when I first started streaming officially,
Okay.
and at first it was on Facebook and then Twitch because I was noticing a lot of people were starting to go to Twitch, and I was just doing my homework for that first like the first 2-3 weeks, and
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing my homework this entire time. But my strategy at that point was because a lot of people were going to Instagram and to Facebook at the time, and not many people were going to Twitch yet. But I noticed the people that were really serious about their DJ careers were going to Twitch because Twitch was like, a very serious platform. So my strategy was, I'm going to stream to both Facebook and to Twitch at the same time. Facebook, because that's where everyone that I know is on. So that's the most visibility, most visibility, most accessibility. But if I get taken down because people were starting to get taken down, Twitch was going to be the backup. So I remember that I did the first broadcast, it went great, and then I realized that there was a bunch of people on Twitch that I had no access to. Like I had my page there, but I had nothing on it. But I'm like, wait a minute, there's people watching on here. Okay. So then what I started doing, I changed my strategy again. I'm like, I'm gonna use Facebook as the conduit to Twitch. So I started telling people, yo man, hey Facebook, if you love this, twitch.tv/DJAudio1, I'm going to be moving to Twitch. I'm not going to be streaming here forever. And then I started saying, and people were asking why. You're probably asking yourself why. Well, Facebook hates DJs. Facebook takes DJs down. Twitch isn't taking us down. And I was early on that shit. And it's crazy because now, literally, like right now, it's basically everybody's moving to Twitch at this point right now.
Everybody's moving to Twitch, but what's going to happen is the same thing that happened to Facebook and YouTube, which is that
ultimately
the copyrights are going to become an issue and they're going to have to start taking people down. So there's a couple of workarounds now.
Most definitely.
There's Beat 45, and Mixcloud has just dropped their streaming service, which is you have to pay for, subscription based, but it's licensed, so you can play. My boy has been testing it out for the last 24 hours, and he's been playing stuff, really trying to get kicked off, and he says it's solid, man. So Mixcloud, I have a feeling is going to be the next one. But again, it's really hard to get, as DJs, we know of these sites, but it's kind of hard to get other people to follow suit and sign up and give all their information to yet another service.
But that's where we come in handy because we're natural salespeople. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, and I'm not gonna say that Twitch is gonna go down eventually. It might, but like I know I have some inside info on Twitch where they're basically doing the same thing that Mixcloud and Facebook are doing. Basically, where they're working with the record labels and licensing. So it might be because it's too big of a platform, and I don't think they're gonna just give up all that traffic.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because now. Like my channel, I'm monetized on Twitch. So when you monetize on Twitch, like that's why I told people that was the route. Basically, let me become an affiliate on Twitch. Then I could just dump Facebook. You know what I mean? And but it's funny, when I left Facebook, a lot of people were upset. But I'm like, just watch me in a month, and then you'll realize why. And literally, like in a month, like as of yesterday was funny on my stream. I had 180 people at once. It was my brother's birthday. It was popping. We had a bunch of famous DJs just hanging out in the chat room. My laptop crashed mid-set, which was so fun, so random. The first laptop crash I've had in my laptop since 2016.
Wow.
And we hit 1,000 followers all in the same stream. So
nice.
it was a milestone. Yeah.
Right on. Good for you, man.
So little by little, people I've been seeing, especially DJs, are saying, "Hey, man, like this is dope." But my thing to most people that are streaming, the main question I get is, do you get paid? And the answer is yes, you can get paid, but the money shouldn't be the motivation.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You should really love the music, because people are going to be able to pick apart if you really love the music or if you're just into it for the money. You know what I'm saying? Like
absolutely.
Yeah. Like right now, like trust me, we all want to make money, and it's not a lot of money on Twitch. But it's money that you didn't have before. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
But people will see through, because there's people jumping on just for the cash grab, and those people are probably not going to last. The reality with these networks is, it's basically like moving to a new city and starting from the ground up. That's the reality. You know what I'm saying? Like I started with 0 followers.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And in like 6 weeks, I'm up to 1,000. I'm now up to
Nice.
100 paid subscribers, so 100 paid people that pay to hang out,
All
to get
right.
no ads, to like
That's
there's
what's up,
pros and
man.
cons to all of this. You know what I'm saying? So but
Absolutely.
the reality is, but then also what I've had to learn is, and I've told you this in the past, I'm not good with a microphone,
Mm.
right? But in the past year, I've been talking more on the mic, and then when I started doing the live streaming, I'm like, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to practice on my presentation.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
feel like, and a lot of people are like, dude, you have really improved, because right now it's about good music and it's about engagement.
Yeah.
You have these audiences that are doing nothing but sitting at home, and they
Hmm.
want to be entertained. So
Absolutely.
even if you get on the mic, you're playing a song, you're like, "Hey Maria, how you doing?"
Hmm.
That "Hey Maria, how you doing?" goes very far. Now Maria will subscribe to you, and she
Yeah.
will tell all her friends about you. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying?
That's
And
right.
I feel like that's how my channel has grown so fast. Is that I'm personal. I see people. I put my phone in front of the camera. I notice who's talking, who's chatting, and I just shout people out.
That's what's up.
And it sounds annoying, because some people are like, is this how you DJ in the club?" I'm like, no, in the club I don't use the mic too much, but
Yeah.
this is a new world we're in right now, so you have to engage.
It is, and there's a million people in a club. You got people in the club with you, but
Yeah,
online there's many different places for people to go and listen to music and hear different DJs live streaming. It's when you
right.
engage with them. It's when you see them in your chat room and shout them out that they
Yeah,
feel involved and engaged, and yeah, they're gonna stick with you. And anybody
yeah,
out there listening, Alex is right. It's not, you shouldn't do it for the money. It's a labor of love for sure.
hmm,
But the least we can ask you to do is sign up for those. If we all have to move to a new platform tomorrow, don't be afraid to
hmm,
sign up and follow your favorite DJ. And most of these are free. I know everybody's nervous about giving any personal information these days, but most
right.
of these services are free. Twitch is free.
Hmm,
Mixcloud's free. Sign up for these and follow your favorite DJ. That's what we need. We need followers. We need
yeah, most
subscribers.
definitely.
Um,
Yeah,
so all right, let's
it's
see.
been good, man.
I'm gonna use that to segue into Dine for DJs. Our friend Miguel Escobedo, Mr. E, and
Yes,
and his food truck Al Pastor
yeah,
Papi,
yeah.
is doing something called Dine for DJs. He's in week 3 this week, and
Hmm.
he did a day for you last week, right? He's
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. So what he's
Yeah.
doing is he's got a very popular food truck in San Francisco, and he's every day he's picking a different DJ, and 10% of his proceeds for that day go to that DJ.
Hmm.
And he did it for Audio One a couple weeks ago, and
Yep.
I'm so humbled to say that he's doing it for me this Friday.
No,
And
man, it's
and
incredible, man.
Miguel, man, thank you. You're a lifesaver.
Yeah, no, man. He's an incredible man. He's doing a lot, not only for DJs but for everybody. I mean,
He always
right
does.
now with his food trucks right now, I mean, he's giving 50% off to all first responders. All children under 12 are getting fed for free. Like,
Wow.
it's, like, honestly, he's not making a lot of money, or
Mm,
he's taking a big loss, but he's paying it forward in the most biggest of ways, man. And
it
he
does.
just recently just had a GoFundMe for he wanted to provide 700 meals for low income families in the Mission and the Excelsior district, and he ended up meeting that, and he's out there like feeding low income families, children, seniors, elderly, these people that like have no food, like,
Yeah,
he's going out there feeding people, man. So
that's what's
very,
up, man.
very humbling, very noble, man. And definitely, like, I mean, he gave me a 10% of what he had made. It wasn't much, but man, it helped me pay my rent, man.
That's
Because like,
like you
it
said, it's
wasn't until
money you
like
didn't have before.
yeah, no, and like it wasn't until like last week that I got my unemployment finally. But,
Mm,
like it's been interesting, and yeah, it was definitely humbling, man. Like, definitely, and I support everything he does now, man. Like honestly, like you said, like, people should follow us, people should sign up. Honestly, like, support, man. Hit a repost, repost a
yeah,
link,
simple things
like,
like
it's
that.
so simple. It's very simple. You see somebody's post, click on repost.
Mm,
That's all. It doesn't take more than a second. You know what I mean?
no.
Every day I see what Al Pastor Papi's doing. Repost. Oh, it's for Lazy Boy. Repost. Oh, it's
Hmm.
for Jay Spinoza. Like, for you tomorrow. Bam, it's done. Like, that way, my people can see. Oh, he's gonna be at Paul's Flowers in Colma.
Mm-hmm.
So if people are gonna be out there, they're gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Dude,
it's
sharing is caring.
sharing is caring,
It
literally,
really
man. And
is, just like you
it
said.
doesn't. It's funny. There's these old memes where like everyone will support like the millionaire superstar that doesn't know you, but don't support the person that you see all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's very true.
that's
Like
true.
you'll support Beyonce and Jay-Z, and they don't give a fuck about you. But yet we're in the club. You're in our club every Friday, and you won't even hit a follow or a share. Like that's the
Right.
world we live in, man.
It really is. Yeah, yeah. People's
Yeah.
people's priorities are a little skewed.
Yeah.
Um,
But it feels like this COVID thing is in many ways aligned a lot of people. I feel, man. I feel like there's more sense of community now than there was before.
I hope you're
I don't.
right. I think it's definitely given force people to just calm down, man. Relax,
Mhm.
take a breath or two, and do some mindfulness and some self awareness.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah,
The music is the escape, though, man. Because like we should be thankful, man. It's been 2 months of us being in this lockdown, and we're still alive and healthy. There's still
yeah,
people dying every day. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And it is a dark world out there, but the music I feel for us is the escape. Like,
It's the light. The music
yeah,
brings the light.
most
Right on.
definitely.
Um, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, man. I know you're busy. You're one of the busiest out there. I want to
I got
know.
time. I got time.
Oh, okay. Well, then I have a bunch more questions. No, you
Yeah,
know
go
what?
ahead, man.
I actually I do. I think we've touched on it a bit, but this morning you mentioned rebranding in quarantine. What can DJs, what can artists in general do right now? How can they spend their time wisely to get themselves in a good position to come out of this and with work?
Um, there's a lot of things actually. I know for me, up till COVID, like I wasn't really good at keeping paperwork or like the legal side of my
The
business.
the desk work, the
Like
managerial, the administrative
right,
side.
right, exactly.
Mm.
Like, and it's funny because it wasn't until a few weeks ago I realized I'm a self prop. Like 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 all these terms. Um, you could do that kind of housekeeping, like
Hmm.
your taxes, your check stubs, your 1099s, get all
Hmm.
that stuff together,
Hmm.
because trust me, I never realized how many DJs don't do their taxes. Like, are you serious? Like, how do you operate? Like,
Right.
how do you prove that you can afford your house? Like,
Yeah.
oh, there's ways, and I'm like, see, that's why we're in this crisis right now,
You know.
because everyone does a little shadiness, and when everyone does a little bit, it becomes a big thing. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, but no,
That's funny.
for me personally, it was just getting those affairs in order, like my taxes. I got an EIN number. You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
got paperwork now to actually become I'm going to incorporate sooner than later when I have some money. But
Yeah.
just so I can pay myself and I can actually have unemployment benefits versus waiting for the government to actually do something for the self-employed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
This has
it,
taught me a big lesson for sure.
yeah.
Sorry, I
So
interrupted you. You were gonna say?
oh yeah, no, just things like that to start. I mean, for DJs and artists, update your website. You know what I'm saying? Update your social
Hmm.
media profiles. You know, if you have money, go get a new photo shoot or take new pictures. Get some new logos done. I mean, um, the stuff matters now, but it'll you'll be ready once things do open up. You can have all your
Hmm.
assets in gear.
Hmm.
Right now, we have all this downtime, man. Learn something. Learn
There you go.
Ableton. Learn more about Ableton. Learn how to do Photoshop. I mean, Ableton is letting you use their Ableton for free. I mean, Adobe is giving you 90 days for free. Like, why
Oh,
not?
really?
Go,
Good to know.
yeah, go on YouTube, and there's all these different resources. You know what I'm saying? Paramine is giving away lessons, and all these different
Hmm.
production companies are giving you tutorials for free, scratch tutorials for free. Like,
Hmm.
like the Beat Junkies even on Twitch and YouTube. They're doing a Q&A. Like, they scratch 4 bars, and then you could tag along from your house and do 4 bars, and then
Oh,
they do
cool.
another 4. So it's a great time to learn, man. we've been given all this time. It's like the vacation we never asked for, like the unpaid vacation we never asked for, right?
That's true.
We always used to say, when we remember those times you and I would talk, you would be at a gig like, yo man, I'm running to my gig. Like, but yeah. Like, if we used to say, if we had time, this is what I would do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now you have the
They got
time. You
nothing
don't
but
have
time.
you're not worried about the bridesmaid wanting 5 more Florida songs. You know what I'm saying? You're not worried about, like, you can't get through the door to get behind the building for the wedding. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
what time loading and unloading is. Like, you don't have to worry about any of that right now. Like, right now you can really focus. You know, like you said, you took a month off to recalibrate, and
Yeah.
after that month you're like, okay, what do I do now? You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And there's many things you could do. I mean, I've been teaching people through Zoom and through Instagram how to make edits. You know what I'm saying? Like, just,
Oh, dope.
just things like that. And if they kick me a donation, cool. If not, it's cool. But like, um if you have some value you could provide to others, teach others, man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I get on Instagram, I get on Twitch, and I, just like we're talking right now, like yesterday I got on Instagram because a lot of DJs are so focused on OBS and getting the look.
Mm.
I turn the camera around and I show people my setup. My setup is super basic.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I could do my stream and get this many people to follow me
Mm-hmm.
with just the most basic of gear,
Mm-hmm.
you guys could do it too.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need the fancy computers or all this other stuff. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's more the determination to get it done, man. And for me, it's funny. Like, this microphone, Twinspin, he ordered it for me.
Nice.
Because he got tired of seeing me use my headphones as a microphone. But think about it. I use headphones for a microphone for 6 weeks,
I know.
and I
watched you.
still succeeded.
You did.
So that should tell you everything. You know what I'm saying?
That's the ingenuity of the DJ right there. I love it.
Yeah. If there's a will, there's a way, man. And for me, I feel like, all right, now I got a microphone, and then I got some other stuff coming. So little by little, I'm gonna be improving on my broadcast. Now I'm learning how to use, like Canva and Photoshop, just so my layouts look a little different. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
like, every week I'm improving my stream for my audience. And
Mhm.
but not sacrificing, me engaging them through the music and having fun. I mean, even when my laptop crashed yesterday, if you go on my Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, you'll see a picture of me holding the laptop with the white screen, and we had a comedic moment with that.
Nice.
Because my heart stopped, and I could have, like, just gotten really pissed, but I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, my laptop crashed, and I picked it up and I showed it to the camera, and you just see all these people like, oh no, oh my god, oh no, and then we're like, at least it wasn't in the club, like,
Right.
so it's basically like, I made fun of myself. All right, you know what, let's restart. And, oh, by the way, my name's Audio One from the San Francisco Bay Area, thank you for tuning in. Like bantering while the laptop was restarting. So
Nice. You're very comfortable on the mic now for somebody who wasn't for so long. You're good.
Yeah, no, but now it's putting it to the test with people in person. I think that's going to be the real test.
Yeah,
always
that was a struggle for me as well, because when I started DJing, the DJ, I wanted to DJ in nightclubs, and the nightclub DJs I knew of and looked up to, they were hidden, and they were in the nightclub, in some kind of hidden room somewhere doing their thing, and they could see the crowd, but most of the crowd didn't even know where they were or who they were.
Right.
And I liked that aspect of it. I liked that mystery. But somewhere over the past I don't know, 15 years, we've been brought out into the spotlight, and we're expected to engage, and we're expected to get on the mic, and that's something, boy, I was not comfortable with for years, and even had some really bad experiences with. But
same here.
What can you do? You
live and learn,
practice, man. And you get better. And you, my friend, are extremely comfortable on the mic. So good for you.
I'm trying my best, man. Thank you. No, trust me. I still. It's funny. I tell people that I still get, like, when I would go to my gigs, even until before COVID, I still get butterflies before I start. And then one of my friends told me that means that I still love the craft, and I still get butterflies even before I go on my live stream. I'm pacing around like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I have to psych myself up, because for the next 2-3 hours I gotta, like, be on point. But that's the thing too about live streaming. It doesn't have to be perfect, man, because even the biggest names have been flopping. Like, there've been goof. Like I've seen Diplo goof so many mixes recently, and
Yeah.
he's just like, oh, what the hell? Like just let it ride. Like I've had like I said, I had the laptop crash. I've had it where I was talking so long, the song went to acapella out, and I didn't realize it. I'm like, wait a minute, we're in acapella out. Damn, you know. So I own my screw ups, and I just make them part of the show. Like
It's
sometimes
great.
I'll be like, yo, what up, ladies? How y'all doing? All right, hold up. This time I got 10 seconds, or else we're gonna have no music.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
yeah, you just keep it rolling. You know what I
That's
mean?
great.
But yeah,
Uh,
you don't have to be perfect, man. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's just everything's a vibe. Just make sure you feel good and you're happy with it, and make sure others feel good too, man. Trust me, it goes a long way.
Good advice. And I
Yeah.
think not being able to see your crowd and make eye contact with them is helpful too, because I know myself,
Yeah,
if
it can
I'm
be.
live streaming and I have some sort of accident or mistake, yeah, you can make it comical. What can you do? But just try to
Hmm.
get back up and running again. But if that happens at the club and I look up and somebody's looking at me like, "Yo, what are you doing? You're whack." I start melting. I'm like, "Oh my god, how am I
Yeah,
gonna get
I
out
think
of this?"
we are really hard on ourselves about that kind of stuff. I've just learned to just not even pay it any mind. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
good for you,
Like
man.
it's weird. It's weird because we always focus on that one person that's just like staring at you from across the club, and it's like and so like I know in the last 2 years I've just been like, you know what, go fuck yourself. I mean, either that or I think I used to take that approach in the club. Now it's funny. That was sort of the thing about having the headphones too, was that I was able to pick out who didn't like me,
That's
and
funny.
it was great because those people are always vocal. And I
Yeah.
remember I did a DMS stream 2 weeks ago, or about 2 weeks ago,
Hmm.
and I still had the headphones on the mic. And this guy got on the Facebook chat room, and he's all, I can't take this motherfucker serious. He's talking through headphones or whatever, right? And before anyone in the chat, like people saw it in the chat room, and so at that moment I was kind of like, this motherfucker. So I'm like, what am I gonna say right now? So I pick up the microphone. I'm like, yo, Gabriel Hernandez, I love you. And I straight
Ah,
at the camera like, hey, Gabriel Hernandez, I love you. And I hit the air horn. And then I just went back to mixing. And
hell
then
yeah.
like the chat room just ate him up. Just
Yeah.
like whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
but
Show that
yeah,
it doesn't phase you.
trust me, man. Like people make fun of me all the time, but like I let it ride. You know what I mean? Because what am I gonna do? Like, am I gonna get? It's not like I could punch you in the face. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's a sign
it
of a
ain't that serious, man. But honestly, most people are having fun, man. Most people are not mean online,
Mhm.
but you do get a couple. It's just kind of all right, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just keep it moving.
that's a true
Yeah,
entertainer, man. Someone who can improvise and not be shaken by,
yeah. I feel
the
like a lot of
hecklers.
us are just a lot of us are naturally comedians. You know what I'm saying? Like we just, you know,
Yeah,
like I
good
know,
point.
I know sometimes I'll play a record, and especially with hip hop, especially in the hit when it's hip hop sets, a lot of the references are so old or so outdated
Hmm.
that the comedy just writes itself.
That's great.
There's just some things you're like, really? Did he really just say? I'll put the fader on, like, did he really say that? Like, it's and then it was like, oh my god, you're right. Pause. Like,
Hell yeah,
it's just funny shit, man.
that's it. You got to be able to
Yeah,
laugh, man.
no, most definitely.
What do you miss the most? What can you not wait to do when this is over?
Really honest, I want to go out and eat at a restaurant. I want to actually go to like Los Cocos, which is a Salvadorian food spot in Oakland,
All right.
or Oye Managua in San Francisco, which is a Nicaraguan food spot. Just eat. But ironically, I actually would want to go to In and Out, but I don't want to wait in a 2-hour line
You can go there
because
now.
yeah, but you have to wait 2 hours in
That's
the car line.
a good
Yeah,
point.
so no, but the thing is, a few weeks ago I had to go to Best Buy to buy they're doing this thing where you order online and then
Yeah.
they just hand you the thing on your car.
Curbside pickup. Yeah.
Yeah, curbside pickup, which is real. I think that's the future. I think that's going to be the
Yeah.
future for a lot of businesses. It's crazy, but I saw the line at the In and Out here in Union City. It was like
Insane.
And I asked the girl, like, how long's the wait? She's like, about 90 minutes. I'm like, yo, no burger is waiting worth 90 minutes.
Nope. You'd be
So,
done being hungry by the time you get your food.
Yeah, nah, screw that, man. So yeah, I mean, just stuff like that, man. I mean, it's not that it's bad being inside. I mean, we're being healthy, but
Hmm.
I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting to see how we rock crowds from this point forward, man. Because I think safety is gonna be a big thing, and who knows if venues are gonna invest or not. I mean, I
Hmm.
don't think it's gonna be much more than just a glass partition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're gonna, hand sanitizers. Who knows how it's gonna be, man? The, Businesses are gonna have to rewrite everything. I mean, we
Hmm.
already see the supermarkets have already implemented certain things.
Hmm.
I just don't see how it's gonna work for us. Like even more so, not so much in the clubs, but more in like the corporate and private world. Like I
Hmm.
mean, like these weddings can't be 300 people no more, man. It's got to, they're gonna be like 20 people or less now. I mean, who knows how it's gonna work?
Yeah. I
And
think
that
the
is, you know,
I think the weddings will be the first thing to come back, actually, because people are really anxious to have those, and you can have a
right,
wedding with like no more than 100 people, and you can kind of keep them under the radar. But
right,
anything bigger than that, corporate events, clubs,
yeah,
it's too risky, and they can't
yeah,
fly under the radar. So it'll be
yeah.
interesting,
It's
man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I worked up till that weekend. I was working, man, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. I was traveling. I did the math. Like I DJ'd at Grayton Casino 3 times before that. I was in and out of planes 7 times. Like
Damn.
I was everywhere that I could get exposed. I was at Nam. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
yeah,
Ac-
like and a lot. It's funny. Like I asked AJ, and AJ was like, yeah, I was feeling sick after NAM. I'm like, yeah, me too. Like
hmm.
everyone I knew felt sick. So people felt when we went to Vegas in November for my birthday,
Hmm.
everyone came back from Vegas sick. Like
Oh
everyone went
wow.
to they went to Texas, they went to LA, we went back home. We all were sick. They don't know why. Whatever. And
Oh.
then people went to NAM, and then but also it's funny because my brother went to a CES in Las Vegas,
Hmm.
and but he's like, I guess he wasn't sick, but he said everyone that he knew got sick.
Oh
So,
man.
so I mean, but so it almost feels like we've been in these environments, and then there's this whole talk amongst DJs that we've been in such crazy environments all our lives that we might just be immune to the craziest of shit
Yeah.
because all the stuff that we're around. I mean, you see how grimy the floors are when we're at the clubs, right? Like,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
and the
Absolutely.
fact and the fact that women walk around barefoot, like,
Oh my god. Among other things.
yeah, man,
Lazy Boy just chimed in and said he came back sick from Nam too. I come back
yeah,
sick from Vegas every time I go there, so that's nothing new for
yeah.
me.
Yeah, I
Yeah, the
think
place
a
makes me
lot of people a
sick.
lot of people said they were sick after NAM too, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's something to consider, but nothing to overthink. It's just, but I do believe we've been in these crazy environments. We've been to raves. We've been to
We've been
we're
exposed.
having
That's
we
true.
yeah we yeah. So I mean, there might be. I mean, that's something somebody's gonna have to look into, man,
Yeah.
because you don't hear that too many DJs have gotten COVID. And just, who knows, man? Because I know I've
Uh,
been going to raves since 1992, man. So like,
yeah. We
what
built
have
up that
what have
immunity.
yeah, we've been to Funky Techno Tribe and Moon Tribe and
Hell yeah. Wow. There
Full
you
Moon
go.
Gathering. I mean, we've been around the crazy. I mean, fucking even before like uh, what's the party in the desert? Like
Burning Man.
yeah, you like Burning Man, like like you're around such not degenerates, but like crazy people. You don't know where they've been, man. Like
Dude, I
you
remember
know.
laying on the floor at home base many a night, just
Oh
laying
yeah,
there, just
yeah.
letting
Or
my
those
mind wander.
or those mattresses they used to have. I
Oh
mean,
no, I didn't touch those. That's where
yeah,
I draw the line. That's a sponge, right?
yeah,
It's a giant sponge right there.
yeah. Oh, dope, man.
Well,
So yeah,
is there
man.
anything else you want to cover? Anything?
No, not really. The last thing I probably want to cover is I just teamed up with who Alex Mejia is.
Of course.
Okay, OG,
Yeah.
super OG.
Yep.
Him and his woman Monica, they run a nonprofit organization called Beats for Hope.
Okay.
Um, and they help out a lot of charities across California. They recently invited me to start help me start a new merch line.
Okay.
And so for the first time in my life, believe it or not, even during a pandemic, I now have merch with my name on it.
I saw
And
that. That's dope.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's at beatsforhope.com, and each sell we're giving back to the community. So you know what I'm saying,
That's
when
great.
people purchase, they're helping me out, but they're helping the community out as well. So
That's great.
it's pretty cool. We were working on a bunch of different designs and stuff. Not just originally it was just my logo, like on a hat and some shirts, but now we're coming up with different slogans and different things, more DJ related type things. So it's really cool, man. That's something I always wanted to do. I just never knew how, and then I had a meeting with Alex and Monica, and they've been super supportive. Like
Very nice.
like like they're just it's crazy. It was I've always wanted to hear somebody ask me, so what would you want to put on a shirt? It's like, bro, it's like ideas overflowing, and the fact that like Alex is really good at I'll tell him, I'll give him a slogan or something. All right, let me come back with something, and then he comes back with something. You're just like, oh, okay, well, like, do you approve this or not? And I'll be like, can we change this? But most of the time he's really on point with it. And
Cool.
it's been cool. So yeah, I'm doing that now. I know Latin Prince has his own line, Chewy Gomez,
Oh, wow.
Slam and Sam. So all of us, yeah, it's cool. It's cool to have merch, but the fact that I'm able to give back to the community too, that's something I've always wanted to do. I just never knew how, and it was sort of like, it's really dope. Like it's like two things at once. I'm
And
like
I've
each
seen
of the cells help help out. And I've seen the help that they've been, the organizations that they work with are really incredible, man.
and the shirts look dope. I saw them online. It's got your logo, or your name. Is that your logo? Is that your audio?
Yeah.
Logo? It looks
Mhm.
dope. I like it.
Yeah, we just put out a new one that says DJ with a purpose. I think
Nice.
that's probably going to be the if you see it, it's really cool, man. Like
All right.
I think the message definitely something that DJs could relate to right now, like more than ever, because it isn't about money, because we're not really making it. Like if you're gonna DJ, then definitely have a purpose. Like for me, it's making others happy, taking people out of the dark environment, putting them into a happier place. So
Good for you, man.
we should always, regardless, it shouldn't always be about money and that. It should be about, like, I love DJing. Like we're talking about Lazy Boy, like I love Lazy Boy, man. Greg, I love you, man. Like, he's been through so much and he still won. You know what I'm saying? Like he still won the Red Bull 3 style, man. Like, that's inspiring. For me, it's like, it inspires me. Like my man's going through cancer. He's going through surgeries. He's going through, all these lifestyle changes, and he still won America.
He did.
You know what I'm saying? Like how is that not gonna like inspire all of us to do more? You know what I'm saying?
I think that even totally, he was surprised by that.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's definitely DJing with a purpose. For him, it's like, yo, it's do or die, man. Because tomorrow's never guaranteed for any of us. You know what I'm saying? So,
that's right. So
he really is he's really an inspiration. So definitely DJing with a purpose. It's that's the new one that we came out with. So definitely something to look forward to.
I like it, and he's chiming in heavy on the chat right now. He says, "Coming back from Vegas, sick every time. It's called The Hangover." You're right. You're absolutely right about that. And I want you next, Greg. I'd love to do an interview with you. So
yes, Lazy, you're next, Lazy.
You're up. Your number's been pulled. Yo, thank you so much, man. Where can people find you? Is your website? What's the easiest way? Because I know you're everywhere. You got a lot of avenues. But what's the easiest way for people to find you?
Social media, man. I mean, I'm heavy on Instagram. All my social media is at DJ Audio One. So it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at DJ Audio One, Mixcloud, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, all at DJ Audio One, YouTube, and Twitch. And right now, Twitch is probably the most important one. Twitch.tv/DJ Audio One. So you could just type in DJ Audio One into your search engine, you'll find me.
Is your website current? Are you active?
No, it's funny we're talking about updating sites. I'm talking to GoDaddy to get my website back, because for some reason I don't have access to it. So,
oh, trip. Okay, don't go to your website. Beats for Hope, is there a website they can go to for that? Purchase?
Yes, it's beatsforhope.com.
It's the number 4, right?
Number 4, yeah, beatsnumber4.com, or on any of my social media link sites, I have a link. It's a link tree. You could click on the link tree and it'll be the first thing to pop up. So,
okay.
Yeah,
oh, man, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for taking the time.
No worries, brother.
Stay well. When's your next live stream?
My next live stream is tomorrow, 1 to 3. I'm broadcasting Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 1 to 3 p.m. Pacific. on twitch.tv/DGAudio1.
Tune in, folks. I'll be there. Alex, thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
man. Enjoy
No
the
worries.
rest of your day.